Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. So incredibly excited, maybe over the top excited to speak with you tonight. And the pookster next to me has just finished stirring her beet juice. I have no idea what she's up to, but rest assured, it's probably something that's really good for the immune system. Has barley juice and who knows what else in it. Maybe it is a mental detox as well. Want to talk with you about why you matter tonight. And I want you to know you do matter. You matter now than more than ever, especially during this time. So I've been speaking with a lot of teachers lately, and they've been sharing the same message. Well, if you don't know, I'm Michael Sandler, the host of Inspire Nation Show. I've interviewed over 1,100 guests for our Inspire Nation show, and I've been getting a very consistent message lately. And that message is kind of two parts. First off, none of the teachers ever expected to be where we are right now. So I had Mitch Horowitz on the show last night going, what in the world? From a Mitch Horowitz to a Greg Braden to a Matthew Immersion, and on it goes, Dr. Christian Northup. The list goes on and on of people going, oh my God, Matt Kahn, another one. I can't believe we're here right now. However, if you peel away the layers behind the, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here right now. What you also hear is this is an evolutionary change of humanity, or a setup, if you will. What do you mean this is a setup, Michael? Well, throughout the ages, we've heard about end times, after times, apocalyptic times. I don't use the A word here, so I'm not going to say that's what's going on right now. But we've heard of these times. Nostradamus talked about it. The Mayans talked about it. Culture after culture, civilization after civilization has talked about a time coming around now when everything would fall apart. Every system would break on some level. And I'm here to tell you, we're here. No, it doesn't mean that jet airplanes are going to be falling out of the sky. Thank God. It doesn't mean that volcanoes are going to be erupting left and right, thankfully. But it does mean that all the systems that are in place are either falling apart at the seams or have blasted apart at the seams. We first started getting really clear indication of this in December. We had Dr. Michael Lennox on the show, and he was talking about, from an astrological point of view, how this is a year of reckoning. What does that mean, a year of reckoning? Doesn't mean that bad things are going to happen to us. Far from it. Lots of good is going to come out of it. So hang in there. Stay on your edge of your seat, but hang in there. A lot of good can come out of this. However, he meant that things that were pushed under the carpet, that we weren't addressing, that we weren't looking at as a society, as a species, let alone as an individual, we're going to come out right now and get to be dealt with, which is exactly what's going on. So I went to the grocery store earlier today, and everybody's got masks on. There's a flow. There's a way that you go through. There are guards to ensure that you go a certain way to the grocery checkout counter. It was really, really weird. Michael, I thought you were talking about hope. I am talking about hope. The old systems have to fall apart for a new one to be able to come in. And there is no going back right now to the pre-coronavirus grocery store. At least not for a very long time. And even then, it will have changed. Everything is in change right now. Everything is in flux. If you can hang in there through this time, you are going to rock it, because you were brought here during this time for a particular reason. I'm going to get to more of that in a minute. The time that we are at is really, it's a birth. It's a new birthing, a birthing of humanity, a birthing of you, a birthing of me. Birthing feels incredibly uncomfortable when we're in the middle of it. And that's where we are right now. We are in the thick of things. But it's not just a time of great instability and of great change, but of incredible hope and positivity. Why? If you can step back from your current situation, you can see that the universe is conspiring in your favor and brought you in here at this very time for a specific reason. That's where the hope comes from. You were brought here now in this time for a very specific reason. First off, if you remember that you are a spiritual being having a human existence, no matter what your religion, if you understand that there is more going on than meets the eye, that's the first part. And if you realize that this is the most special, different, interesting, freaky, tiki, scared out of our minds, what in the world is going to happen time period in the history of humanity, then you can't help but notice it. What is it? It is the elephant in the room. What's the elephant? That you and I incarnated here, now, in this time, at this incredibly special juncture or nexus of all energies coming together at once to create something new. We chose to be here at this time. We truly chose it. How special is this time? Well, never in the written history of humanity has anything taken place globally that's affected everybody in the same means that it has affected everyone now. And at no point have we been as connected as we are at this moment. At no point are we going to endure what we're going to endure for the length of time as what we're going through here as well. As crazy as it might sound, this event that is going on right now, if you can separate the suffering, and there's massive suffering, but if you can step back from a minute from it, you'll realize that to the history of humanity, this event is of nearly as great import as if aliens suddenly came out of the sky and landed at the White House. And who knows, maybe that's what's coming next. But it's a time when all of our paradigms are shattered. Systems are falling away. We are not just feeling awful and unstable. All of us, even people who find a way to come through this and go, woohoo! And like they say, the rich are getting richer and people are consolidating their wealth. But even they're not immune to the virus. Nobody is immune to the virus. And so all of us universally are going through a holy crap moment. But it's also an incredible lightening and a quickening and a time of massive, massive change. It's a time where we get to go inward and say, who do I want to be coming out of this? It's interesting. Ervin Laszlo, dear friend who I've had on the show, and has an amazing book coming out on the Akashic Forces. And he talks about us being at a bifurcation of humanity, a time where we can go down into the tubes or the toilet, a time where we can rise up. And that is why I believe we are here right now, is that each of us is chosen. I remember when I did my first automatic writing, I can't believe I'm going to share this, but I'm not unique in this. The first time I did automatic writing was actually in Akashic Records class years and years ago, where I got to hear from the Akashic Masters about why I'm here. And they said, you are a chosen one. Well, guess what? The Pookie's a chosen one too. You're a chosen one. Every one of us that is here at this time has chosen this time for a particular reason, because we've got work to do. But it doesn't mean that it's heavy work. It doesn't mean that it's complicated work. In fact, if I go back to Ervin Laszlo and the bifurcation of humanity, the split, a bifurcation, if you think of a snake, it has a bifurcated tongue, two sides to it. The split that's going on in humanity right now, or the choice, is because we've gotten too complicated. We've gotten too in our heads. We've gotten out of alignment or out of coherence with our very existence, with the planet, with the universe, with the harmony, as Paul Selig's guides call it, from the accord from which we came. And the universe not just abhors a vacuum, it abhors chaos. If this was truly a mechanistic universe, then things would break down into simpler and simpler states. Instead, they go to more complex and more complex states of greater intricacy and greater harmony. not of complication and gears grinding and breaking down, of greater harmony. But we have been out of harmony. We have been in discordance. Irvin Laszlo talks about where we get to go if we pull it together as a group. And that's where I'm going to challenge you here tonight. Each of us has a job to do, but don't worry. It's the most selfish, help ourselves job in the world. So it can be fun. But where we get to go is from a state of out of coherence, where everything is fighting against everything else. We're destroying the environment. We're destroying each other. We're destroying our families. We're destroying our economy. We're on and it goes to a state of coherence where we're in harmony, but actually then to a higher level. Paul Selig's guides call it the upper room. I call it the upper room as well, probably from the automatic writing. And Irvin Laszlo calls it a state of super coherence. If you look at an electron, if you pump energy into an atom, at some point the electron goes boop from one state up to the next with no apparent distance or stages in between. It's kind of like, depending on the history of humanity that you want to take a look at, there are many gaps in the record where things appeared at one level and appeared at another level. Now, I'm not going to go into ideas of where else we may have come from, but from a scientific point of view, things pop up from one state change to the next. And I am convinced that's exactly where we're at right now. And to me, it is so, so cool. It's not easy. It's not fun. It's scary as hell. I have been struggling to sleep, and I sleep like a baby. And my heart has just been racing each evening right now. Just boop, 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 boop. 2 nights ago, the Pookie had to endure me sitting, she's on the chat room right now, if you're wondering where she is, sitting by an open window in the 20s with myself half naked, trying to cool me off to sleep because I can feel the energy of everyone and everything going on around us. And I was like an Energizer bunny at 12:12 in the morning as far as the heat coming off of me. That's the amount of energy that's out there, but we can actually transmute this energy and turn it into something incredibly, incredibly positive. So it is a time for going on working for the man, working for somebody else, working for somebody else's hopes and dreams, to working on ourselves, to go from being out there and looking at everything around us and trying to figure out all of, like being astronauts, understanding outer space, to becoming intranauts and diving into our inner space. We have a course coming up in about a week or so on how to become an intrapreneur, or how to build the business of our lives rather than building somebody else's business or building the business of their lives. Why is this so important? Because if we get in resonance with our own hearts at this time, if we take care of ourselves, and I'm not saying neglecting the whole, I'm saying the reverse of that. But if we dive in on the inside, if we dive into our breath, if we dive into meditation. In fact, take a nice deep breath for me. We'll do 3 breaths. Two more. One more. If we dive into ourselves and into our true nature at this time, not only do we create a state change like you just did in yourself right there, not just for yourself, but you create a state change for everyone around us. That's what I mean by you matter. Not you matter by being out there on the front lines, though that's awesome and we need you. Not you matter by being out in the ER or being in a grocery store or being in delivery or being in any of these places where we truly do need you. But by doing the work on the inside at this time, you will help change the entire world around you. So one of the jobs that I get to do on air, particularly when I do classes, particularly when I do intention setting meditations or EFT tapping or any of these group activities, is I hold space. And with practice, I've gotten really good at holding big space. Each of us can hold big space. What's big space mean? Well, I used to sit in a Buddhist meditation center, cling the bell, hold space for everybody, help quiet their minds, help bring them into a state of peace. Graduated to being on Maui 6 months of the year, a couple years, holding space at a meditation center each winter, 6 months actually, 3 to 4 hours a day, holding space. Anyone who would come in would be like, wow, what a special energy. This feels really good. And they'd be able to drop down into a state of greater peace really, really quickly. In fact, we had a teacher back then by the name of Claudio, who's now on YouTube, who you can just tell, just going on YouTube, my God, does this man hold big space? Well, we each hold big space when we cultivate it, when we practice, when we become the intronaut that we were meant to be and dive in on the inside. But we don't need meditation centers to make a difference. In fact, I used to say that the time has passed. I have to correct myself. I'll correct myself quite often. If you think if I say that I know 100% of the truth, please run and run fast, because the truth is always evolving. It's always growing. It's always expanding. We're always learning. Consciousness is always learning. I used to say that now is not the time to be a monk in the Himalayas, that time has passed, because we need the monks out here in the world. We need real world mindfulness, practicality, meditation. And now I'm going to actually challenge that very statement, because I do think we need monks in the cave now. I think we need monks in the cave more than ever. But our caves have changed. You and I are each in a cave. Strange that it's so similar to the word cage, go from V to G, which is interesting of itself. But we are all in a cave right now. We are social distancing. We are, for the most part, staying at home, not going out, not interacting in the way we did before, which is fascinating, because we are in a sea of energy. And I'm going to get back to this whole cave in just a second. We'll sew it together. We're in a sea of information. A wave of particles a wave becomes a particle. When we focus on it, we are swimming in energy. Information. It informs us. Every cell of our body knows exactly what to do, not just because of the DNA, but the mitochondria knows what to do with physics, with quantum physics, with producing energy almost out of nothing. How in the world does it do it? Because it is plugged into a field of energy. Ervin Laszlo calls this the Akashic field. We are all plugged into this field. In fact, we are all the field. We are a part of the field. We're not the whole field. Here's the cool thing about the field. Well, first, the scary part of the field. When you wake up in the morning right now and your heart is going thudda, 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 and you're going, what in the world is going on? For instance, this week, I have been getting, which is unusual to me, I've been getting social distancing dreams. Usually it takes years for things to come into my dreams. Oh no, they're coming in big time right now. Why? Because I'm reading the field. We're waking up in the morning nervous and anxious. Why? Because we're plugged into the field. We're going through the day jittery, or feeling like, man, that other shoe is going to drop and it's going to be ugly. Pew just came out with a report, or a, survey, saying 73% of Americans believe the worst is yet to come. Why do we believe it? Well, one, we can look at numbers and see what's coming. But two, we're plugged into a field of belief. And truly, what we focus on and where we place our attention is the collective dream we create. So we get to be really, really careful about this. But we are plugged into this field. Now, that means the field can hit us with a lot of energy, with a lot of negativity, with a lot of fear, with a lot of anxiety. But we can also hit back. And that was where the monk in the cave comes back into play, and why I would say the monk in the cave is so important right now. And you, my friend, are the monk in the cave. Because if you look at this field of energy, we can have a black hole going down, sucking humanity, what seems like down into the toilet, down into the darkness. Or somebody recently told me that Star Wars maybe is real, dark versus light. Well, I think they're equal in opposition. As the dark gets stronger, the light gets stronger. So as there's this what appears to be flushing down in the toilet, we get to pump the energy up over here to bring everything into balance, and then boop, to an energetic state change. So you sitting on the couch meditating, you tickling your partner, you going into the silence, focusing on the breath, doing the inner work of the intronaut, turning on a comedy, doing whatever it takes to raise your energetic state, changes the energetic state of all of us. Why did you come here now? Because whether you know it or not, you're a superstar at energy. Right now, you're holding massive energy. It could be depressed energy. It could be sad energy. It could be grief energy. It could be freaked out energy. But you, my friend, know how to play with big energy. Big energy. I put this out to represent a bowl of energy that we are each able to hold on to. And if you came here at this time, you came here because you know how to play with big energy. You're an alchemist. You are a wizard. You didn't come here during an agricultural revolution. You didn't come here during the dark ages where it seemed apparently, at least on the surface, that nothing much was taking place. You came here now where humanity is undergoing its biggest freaking change that we have ever seen because you know how to play with energy. So the trick is we get to transmute that energy into the positive to feed it back into field to help everyone. How's that start? Be selfish. Yes, be selfish. The ultimate act of selflessness you can do is to work on yourself with everything that you've got. Pump up that love, and pump up that love to the max. How do we do that? Start each day, look for some positives. Do a meditation. Go to something like EFT tapping. Structure your day like taking our class that we're going to have next week to help you become an entrepreneur and truly transform your life. But do the inner work on getting yourself into the most beautiful space positive. Now, I can hear a lot of people saying, I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I don't need another to-do right now. Then you're right. Your to-do is to heal. How do you do that? Just be with yourself. Don't push, don't strive, don't drive, but just be. Simplicity truly is king now more than ever. And so if your intuition is telling you, I do just want to be on the couch right now, you go, boy, you go, girl, you be on that couch, you own that couch with everything that you've got. I lost, the argument continues as to whether it was 4 or 5 units of blood many years ago when I had my second NDE experience. And as they tried to get me, not the doctors, the silver foxes, the physical therapists who were really rocking awesome, tried to get me moving too early. And my blood values crashed. I already rolled the dice 4 or 5 times with other people's blood. And even though I'm coming from a place of love, I know I can rebuild my body. And I spent several months on the couch doing absolutely nothing, being with the couch. In fact, that was my homework to a client last night who's recovering from coronavirus in New York City. Be with the couch. It's very interesting that the coronavirus, for those of us who are going to make it through, what do? We get, from what I understand, is we get exhausted, beyond exhausted, and we are stuck in not being able to do anything. I don't believe that's by accident, just like I don't believe the change maker, a virus to help us, which is waking up a species that has acted as a virus, is by accident as well. Always look at the messenger and the mechanism. The messenger, a virus, the mechanism taking us down in order to slow us down, in order to allow the planet to heal, in order to allow us to heal, in order to help us to make an energetic state change. And again, that's where you come in. So do the work as an entrepreneur, or do the work of simply being. We as a species are horrifically poor at being. We have forgotten how to be. Instead, it is do. Earlier today, the Buki and I were saying, what's going to be our next class? What is it going to look like? And we said, while we'd like to do something this week and the time is there, let's actually bump it another week out and take our time during this time. And that is my hope, my dream. I want to give you this quest for you to be with yourself, to allow yourself the time, to take it easy on yourself. Yes, to crank up that inner energy to the max through meditation, through being quiet, or through taking the time on the couch, or if you're fortunate enough to be somewhere where you can get out in nature, get out in nature with everything that you've got, but not to push it. So my challenge for you, while I'm saying there is hope and you have a job to do, I'm convinced you came here now because of the ability to hold energy and the ability to help transmute that energy. Do it at your own pace. With that said, I want to open it up to some questions. We do have bi-weekly classes right now, which we call boot camps. The last one was a tapping, an EFT tapping boot camp on alchemy, on transmuting fear into positive, powerful energy. We're going to be having another boot camp on raising your happiness levels back from the bottom level and getting you back into your happy place. That'll be a week, that'll be 9 days from now. And we've simplified our pricing model. It's just going to be $14 and you get all of our boot camps a month. And the Pookie's going to put the URL down for that. And then we're going to also, on top of that, we'll announce that tomorrow's YouTube Live. We're going to announce our Rebuilding Your Life or Recreating Your Life class, which will be coming out next week as well. I'm actually over the top excited. Am I scared? Yes. Am I nervous? Yes. Am I worried for my parents? Yes. Am I worried for the Pookie's parents? Yes. Am I worried where everything's going? On one level, yes. But on another level, I have tremendous hope because it is when we get light, when things feel incredibly uncomfortable, is when we are able to pivot and make great change. And if we can step back and look at that and remember you're a spiritual being having a human existence and that you incarnated in this time for a reason, which means you're not an accident. You came here for a specific reason. We are coming from a world of divine intelligence of what we are a part of. And if there is a divine intelligence and it chose for you to be here this time, then there is something special for you. So we just get to weather this. Dive in, obviously, chop wood and carry water, which means do what we can to protect ourselves, to protect our families, and to keep that roof over our head and keep food on the table and help our other loved ones as we can. But if we can remember that, then we grow infinitely, infinitely powerful during this time. So with that said, I want to open it up to questions first. I am going to do my best to gently massage the Pookster on the shoulder and see if she has anything that she wants me to cover before we dive into questions. So I'm very, very gently tapping her on the shoulder because she is in the typing world right now to see if I can bring her back. And is there anything you wanted me to mention?
Just that we're still going to offer the boot camps individually.
Yes, we're still offering. If you can only want to attend one boot camp, they're $7. We are still offering that independently. And our mission right now is to help everyone everywhere, which means first off, we've got a lot of people who've donated and we're matching donations 1 for 1. So there are scholarships available for all of our classes if you can't get in, or all of our boot camps. If you can't get in, reach out at inspirenationshow.com/contact, inspirenationshow.com/contact, inspirenationshow.com/contact. I'm having the Pookster write it down here. If you need a scholarship, and we will do everything we can to get you in. It is our mission to help everyone. And we are starting the Inspire Nation Corps, which we'll be sharing more about in this coming week, of how we can all work together as a group to shift consciousness. Because there are some powerful things that we can do as a group, such as the group meditation we're going to have at the end of class tonight. So we're going to do everything to get you in, to get you in, to get you in, to get you in, and to get you in. All right. Do we have any questions, thoughts, concerns?
I just want to say that Q donated $10 towards a scholarship. So I wanted you to thank Q.
Thank you, Q. Thank you, Q. Thank you, Q. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? So Q is helping get in several people into class. So it really is a time of coming together. I cannot emphasize this enough. Even in our selfish state, and I encourage you to be selfish, to work on your inner self, it is also a time to welcome in on our outer state as many people as we can in as many different ways as we can as well. All right, let's go to some questions, Pookster.
Okay. From Q. It's a 3-part question.
Oh my, cute. Q.
Q?
I called him cute.
He could be cute.
He could be. We are going to have to get a mic stand. I know we came close last weekend. I have just got to take a day and buy a few things, don't I?
Q writes, Tony Robbins quoted, "Do what you've always done and you'll get what you've always got. Then you'll sit back and wonder why nothing has changed."
Yes, I'll call that the Einstein of trying to change or solve a problem from the level of energy from which it's created means you get the same problem, also known as insanity, is doing the same thing twice and expecting a different result. We have to be able to step out of our mind, but I'm guessing that's not the question.
He continues, "In meditation, the universe whispered in my ear about what the world needs."
Yes, I love it, Q.
1, to simplify in every area of our lives.
Couldn't agree more.
2, to start telling a new story about our lives and experiences.
Absolutely, because a new story is where we put our attention, and that creates change. That's why you'll hear me occasionally talking about an NDE, but not focusing on it, because that is focusing on an old story.
3, to find our answers within the silence of meditation, prayer, and automatic writing.
Couldn't agree more, Q.
So the question is, for a world that is no longer desiring to be disconnected and hope feels distant, what is your expression and revelation of the 3 to bring about hope, healing, and transformation in our lives today? Okay,
so I was starting to address those 3. So first off, I completely agree that we cannot operate from the same level of consciousness that we've been at as well. That's why our number one thing that we teach is automatic writing, because we need to find a way to get out of our small mind, our egoic mind, or our mind says that feels a lack or feels separation or feels fear or worry, anxiety. In order to make great state changes, we need to be able to get out of that state. And that is something the Pookie and I practice. Thousands of people now practice. We teach it. And we have a book coming out in September. Actually, we might even be able to put a link to that, of which I get to work on that final manuscript tomorrow. I have a whole day scheduled on automatic writing, on how we get out of the thinking mind and drop into our inner wisdom in order to hear a different story. So that gets us to number 2. Can you get me back to part 2?
To start telling a new story about our lives and experiences.
So that's part of what we're doing here tonight, Q. And I'm so glad you brought that up, is we could tell a story about mankind is completely out of alignment and everything is going wrong and we're about to drive ourselves off of a cliff. That is a story you can actually read in mainstream media today. And I'm not picking on anyone, but that is the common story, that this is, how do we put it? REM, the end of the world as we know it. But I would add the line, and I feel fine. In other words, rewrite the story of what is possible, of where we are going. We can write a new story. I like to say that history is fictitious. What do you mean by that? It happened. What I mean by that is every second, oh, there goes another second. There goes another second. There goes another second. Every second that has passed is now a fiction. Why? Because I cannot go back and touch it, change it, or do anything with it. Unless I have a time machine, or if you have a time machine, please let us know. We'd love to work with you on it. But barring that, every second that has passed is a fiction. It is an old, dead story. If we say, I keep on having to repeat that story, or I'm destined to repeat it, well, that's actually circuitous broken logic. If I keep remembering the past as if it is here today, then of course I'm going to recreate the past as if it is here today. If I write and create a new story, where I put my attention is where the result will follow. If I create a new story, everything in the past, all of the wisdom of the past, all of the wisdom keepers of the past, everything that has led up to now, has led up to now, specifically for this moment of awesome, amazing, great change, even though it's a birthing and it's incredibly difficult, and I don't want to take away from the suffering people are going through the loss, through the grief, through the loss of income, through the loss of houses, the loss of the works. I'm not taking away. But if we look big picture and we write a new story about this happening for our highest good and for a transformation of humanity, then that's what will happen as well. As a collective, we can dream into being We're the most amazing storytellers in the world. We can dream into being a collective nightmare or a collective heaven. Heaven on earth, electron state change. It is our choice. That was number 2. What is number 3?
Number 3, to find our answers within the silence of meditation, prayer, and automatic writing.
I couldn't agree more. If there's one thing that we could do right now, Q, it is to go quiet, and go quiet, which is ironic since I'm here making a lot of noise on the mic, and plug in through meditation, plug in through group meditation, and then plug in through a process like automatic writing. What is automatic writing? It's a process where you go into a meditative state. You put your questions out there to the universe, whether you call it God, source, angels, guides. I'm an angels guy. I put them out to the archangels. I put them out to Mother Earth. I put them out to spirit animals. I'm a shaman as well that are around me. They're around all of us. You're a shaman too. It means to see clearly. But to put them out there, and you put your pen to paper, and the answers start to flow. But they're not answers from I. We've heard enough, as the Beatles put it over 50 years ago, of I, me, my. These are answers that are a we, a you, a dear one, a loved one. They're second person answers that come from a higher, loving, all-knowing state. And if we plug into that voice more and we follow what that voice has to say, yes, Father and Mother, God, Holy Spirit, absolutely, all of it, the works. If we plug into this voice, then we will not only get through this time, but we will be rocking it. And this voice shares with each and every one of us what is our own unique role. Now, no, the pen doesn't go to paper and you hear your whole life's journey ahead of you come out in one sentence. At least I haven't seen that in the people that we've worked with. However, you get a means of direct transmission, of direct communication between you and spirit. That's where we get to play the game now. That's super coherence. We are out of coherence when we are operating from our own small minds going, I got to go here, I got to go here, gotta, and competing against each other. But when we hear from spirit and we plug into one mind, the giant mind with a capital M, we're now in communication. We're in handshake. We're in communion. Hello. And we're in coherence. And from that state, all things are possible. Truly, truly all things. And so I certainly would encourage you. And that's really, Q is leading the witness here tonight. Let's look at what Q is saying. Q is saying, things are broke at the current level of reality. We must have a state change which occurs first in the mind. We get to create a different story. We get to go in coherence. We get to go into the silence. We get to plug into a higher start of beingness. And from that higher state of beingness, create the new reality or see the new reality that is already here and has already been here. If you've heard of anybody who's taken an ayahuasca journey or anything of the sort, and I've been through several myself, several healing journeys with a shaman, and what I found is an ayahuasca journey, in essence, it's not a hallucination, it is a tuning of the dial from one radio frequency to another, or from one universe or level of consciousness to another. All universes in this multiverse meaning that there are an infinite number of universes working in harmony together. All of them are here at this same time, at this same moment. If we can simply shift the dial, we can see another possibility. We can see another universe. And those shifts of the dials are usually exceptionally subtle. So when I talk about an electron state change, we don't have to do this big, massive effort. We do get out of this, and we do get to work together as a group, but it can be a tiny state change to turn that dial ever so slightly and to see another reality that has already been there, but we couldn't see it from the level of reality that we were in, or from the energetic state from which it was created. One last story on this, we'll jump into the next question. I mentioned this in a class a couple of days ago. I don't think I mentioned it, though, in my last YouTube Live. And this is looking for milk in the fridge. And so if we look for the answer to our problem from the same level of energy from which it was created, then when we go into the fridge to find some milk and we don't believe there's any milk in there, we will never, ever find milk, almost no matter how much our lives depend on it. Then our partner comes along like the Pookie and opens the door, and she didn't have that same belief that there was no milk in the fridge. And of course, she is able to find it. Why? Because our beliefs limit what we can see. Literally are a filter on our reality. So this new greater reality is already there, but our filter is preventing us from seeing it. So what do? We change the channel. We see from a different filter. That's what automatic writing does. That's what meditation starts to do. Although the challenge in meditation without having a process like automatic writing is the ending of the story of I held big space for several years is life was crashing around me. Why? If you're saying you were holding big space and life was crashing all around you. Because I wasn't listening to source. I was just going silent, which was making me feel better and helping everybody around me to feel better. And I did get some profound inner wisdoms on the working of reality. But it didn't tell me how to chop wood, carry water, pay our bills, and keep our business running. That took a process, specifically automatic writing after our butts were kicked, where I said, all right, God, source, universe, angels, what do we do? And the pen began to flow. So let's go to the next question. Q, that was a brilliant way to kick us off tonight.
Okay, next question is from Denise.
Yes.
Can Michael heal people with energy? I say I send love, light, and healing, but just started, so I can do it most of the time, but want to learn more.
That is a beautiful question, Denise, and that is not specifically my specialty. There are many healers that will be much better at it because that is where they have placed their attention and awareness. We do all have this inside of us. I do some modest hands-on healing on occasion. The Pookster is actually much better at this than me at present. It is about where you put your attention and your awareness. Do we all have this ability? Yes. Are we all Michael Jordan? No. So some of us will be even better than others at channeling this energy. But you're right. It is where it starts, is sending love, is sending light. I have literally on myself healed bones and freaked out docs at what I've been able to do by taking laser light pens and sewing bones back together. So we all have this ability inside of us, and it does start with becoming a channel or vessel for that energy to move. Brilliant question. I would say play with it, and play with it.
Rebel Soul Intuitive writes, how do we know if what we are getting from automatic writing is actually true or from a source with our highest good mind?
So Rebel Soul, that's a brilliant question, Rebel Soul. And there are a couple ways. First off, if you're getting out of automatic writing words of fear, of worry, of anxiety, of if only you did this, or you better do this, or you need to do this, or you should have done that, or you're getting shoulded all over, that's not coming from your highest self. So the first way to check is this a kind, loving, gentle voice? It could be a firm voice saying, that's probably not a really good thing for you to do right now, Rebel Soul, but it will always be coming from a place of love. Second, check it. Go into your automatic writing and say, where is this coming from? Is this coming from my higher self? Is this coming from angels or guides? Or is this coming from my ego? Check it. Make sure that you're doing your prayers at the beginning to get you in that sacred space from which to write so that you connected at the highest level. And always do that each and every time you start. But then don't hesitate to check it. And if it is your ego coming up, that's okay too. Do an ego dump for everyone out there. An ego dump is one of the greatest ways to get yourself lighter. What does that mean? It means our subconscious, on some level, we are always pulling ourselves down. I just watched a really fun movie from the 90s called Just Right. And there's a guy who is a trolley driver in Hollywood who takes people to see the stars homes. And he finds himself in a situation where he can write or do a rewrite for a list actress's screenplay. And yet his dad is telling him why he can't do it, why he's not going to be able to do it, why he's not good enough, why he has to settle. And that is what is going on in the inside of each and every one of us almost at every moment. An ego dump is very simply grab a fresh sheet of paper, grab a new page in your journal or your composition notebook, and allow the ego to write and share with you whatever she or he wants to say without censorship. If she wants to shit all over you, let her. Write it all down on the page. And then after 5 or 10 minutes, or after you feel I've had enough of being pooped all over, pull out those sheets, tear them up, shred them, and be done with them. The ego and the subconscious does not know the difference between the written word and the actual event or emotion. So each time you shred it, you get lighter. Does it mean you shred it once and you're done with it? No, it doesn't. But you'll feel a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit more empowered and a little bit more confident, and on it will grow. Brilliant, brilliant question.
Our next question is from Lynn Maxwell. Sometimes after automatic writing, I have immediate synchronicities from the writing. Yeah. Have you or others experienced this? Same words or phrases or scenes come up within minutes. It's cool.
Awesome. Yes. And it's Lynn Maxwell. So Lynn, this is very, very common. Not only do the words or do you get synchronicities after you've been in automatic writing, because to me, being in automatic writing means being connected at a higher level. Now I say higher level, that's 3D. You could say inner level or outer level is 5D. However you want to put it, you are in this embrace, this deep connection with source or spirit. With that said, I'm going to probably steal words from the Pookie right here. But to me, one of the coolest things is we'll finish automatic writing and grab a book, any book, particularly a Paul Selig book, but we'll grab any book and we'll see the words that we just wrote down in another book, or the conversation from your automatic writing will come right out of somebody else's lips within an hour or two afterwards.
Right. It's not the exact words in the book, but the concept is the same. Also, I'll pull an oracle card after I've done automatic writing, and the oracle card will totally relate to what I've just written.
And that's because you're plugged into source. You are plugged into that field. Brilliant question. And keep up the great work, Lynn.
Okay, from Pont Queen. What are your thoughts on healing diseases with high vibrational positive thinking?
So Pont Queen, yes, with a caveat. And that is, how do I put this? I'm a kitchen sink kind of guy, Pont Queen. Can we heal everything with positive, high vibration energy? Yes, if we can do it at a high enough vibration or a high enough belief level. Let's call it that, a high enough belief level. Yes, we can do it because we can truly walk on water if we believe it strongly enough. Because the ego and all systems inside of us have trained it not to necessarily believe it, just like we don't necessarily believe that we can walk on water, then I would kitchen sink it. I would go to it with the highest frequency I could. I would go to it with holistic medicine. I would go to it with everything under the sun that I can think of that feels positive and resonates with you. So I am a strong believer, like Deepak Chopra said, good 2 or 3 decades ago, that if you have a tumor, and you can get the tumor out, and continue to do all of the other methodologies that you can. Because to me, it's all about where our belief system is vibrating at. And it is hard That's story, and we get to challenge that. It is historically difficult to let go of some of the programming and the fear. If we can do that, my guess is it's gone like that, with one big exception. And it's a term that I have yet to pronounce. My guess is perfectly correct. Be that as it may, prabhadma karma. It's an Ayurvedic term, or it's a Sanskrit term, which means as part of our soul contract. So, if it is part of our soul contract for us to check out at a certain time, or for us to have a certain experience for our lifetime or for certain years, then there may not be much we can do. We can try to renegotiate that contract, of course, but it may be there for our highest good, for us to learn and grow and experience during this lifetime. So when I look at Dr. Wayne Dyer, when he passed away, he had seen John of God. And yes, there's a whole story behind that, but he had seen John of God down in Brazil. And it is a miracle. The lights flickered, but I think our internet stayed on, which is really, really cool. Thank you. He had seen John of God in Brazil, but I think he saw him remotely, and he was healed from what he was struggling with. And then half a year later, he still passed away. Why? Because still, when it is your time, it is your time. And Francine asked for me to spell that word, and that's part of the challenge, is I get to go look it back up myself, Francine. Prabhadma karma. And I actually first heard that term years ago when I was interviewing Sister Jenna on the show, who is really, really cool. Next question.
From Level Up Vibrations.
Yes.
When you're not working on this beautiful program, what do you do with your free time?
I'm almost embarrassed, Level Up, because we have really been working on this program lately.
You had some fun free time this afternoon.
I did have some fun free time. My all-time favorite things to do right now are one, spend time with the Pookie, preferably with a movie, good comedy right now. Two, skate. I am a speed skater, former speed skater, an inline skater, a cross-country ski skater, a whatever you can give me that's skate involved, hockey skater years ago, just get me out skating. And so earlier today, I was skating and felt like a kid in a candy store. And when I'm not skating, I like to dream about skating. There's such a flow to that sport. And on top of that, I love hiking and exploring and running and just being out in nature. So for me, the things that bring me greatest joy tend to be on top of the spiritual stuff. I don't miss automatic writing almost ever, and that does bring me tremendous joy, but I love physical movement. I think for myself in particular, but for all of us, we came into these bodies for a reason, and it's to rock them and to use them with everything they've got. And so I'm continuously trying to push myself, challenge myself, explore and play and see what the body can do. I see Dave Lug ask, leave the Pookie with the questions.
Okay. Priya writes, 2 days back, I felt snake energy near my shoulder. I felt it very real, green-brown color. It's calm and harmless. Any suggestions why I've seen this? Is it about awakening? Is this a guide?
So, Priya, while a lot of people, thank you for sharing, while a lot of people are scared of snakes and scared of snake energy, and there is something very primordial about it, we, Pookie and I, have a very, very special relationship with snake energy, as do so many people in the rainforest and other places from around the world. When we were healing back in New Jersey, we were visited time after time after time by were they called timberwood? They were endangered species, timberwood rattlesnakes. They would come up to us. They would do Kundalini embraces in front of us. They would climb up a tree and come down and look at us. All of this we were magnificently able to get on photo, which is just cooler than cool. And they just kept on visiting us, challenging us to look at the unseen world, challenging us to look through different eyes, challenging us to be even more present with everything going on around us. So when snake energy comes to visit, I am in a place of celebration and hurrah. When the first day we moved to North Carolina years ago, right out of the bushes, right by the front window, out came a green snake. And I was like, woohoo, we're being welcomed in. And so to me, when Snake comes to visit, it is the coolest thing in the world. What would I do? I would either go into my automatic writing and write to Snake energy and ask, is there an animal spirit that's here with me who would like to reveal herself or himself or to guide me I would go into my dream state at night, so into the liminal world, the half asleep, half awake state, and put out there the intention for Snake Spirit to come meet you on the other side of the veil when you sleep at night. I would, when you go for walks, ask Snake Spirit to reveal herself or himself. Doesn't mean literally for a snake, but I would put it out there every time that you can. I have next to me these amazing Zuni fetishes. This is a mountain lion fetish right here that the Pookster got for me in Sedona a couple months ago, and we had a mountain lion visit. And I know now from my automatic writing that mountain lion is with me all of the time, and I can literally hold my fetish and go into a state of prayer and feel mountain lion energy with me. So I would go to that snake power, as Allison put it, with everything that you've got. As a man, you were gifted, you were gifted, you were gifted. So go into this experience knowing that there's something very special and sacred. A last thought. You can go into a shamanic journeying experience. Either have your own drum if you have one, or listen to some drums on YouTube. And there are many people who do a much better job at explaining this than me. And you can even get professional guides to help take you there. But with the drums going, you can go down, go find yourself like a nice tree, which has some roots, and you can see between the roots, and there's a hole that goes into the ground. Or you pick up a rock and you find a hole and you go into the ground, called the underworld. The underworld isn't a scary, dark place. The underworld is where the spirits are there to guide you. And go down into the underworld and ask your spirit animal to show herself or to show himself. And Snake, my guess is, chances are, will appear and share with you wisdom. You may have a conversation. She may tell you that she's always by your side. And then when you're ready, she may even tell you how to call her in at any moment. When you're ready, come back out, follow the drums, and come back out exact way that you went in, and realize this is your birthright, your ability to connect with animal spirit. We are all shaman. This means to see clearly. We all have this birthright, and when animal comes to visit, when Snake comes to visit, why not go meet her? Why not go learn from her? Why not call her back into our lives? Just like angels or guides, I truly believe that we are always protected and surrounded by goodness. We are always protected and surrounded by spirits at any moment. That's why our lives get saved when we pull the car to the steering wheel to the side and we miss that bus, or we stop just in the nick of time when we didn't realize there was a red light. These are angels by our sides, or spirits or spirit animals by our side that only will interact if A, it's a life or death experience, or B, if we ask. So ask, call her in. Beautiful, beautiful experience and question.
SB Yoga writes, I wonder if I get fooled by my ego, though I don't know for sure. Is ego always negative? And that might be in reference to automatic writing.
Oh, that's a great question. And I see we're almost done with questions. If you want us to keep the Q&A going, feel free to put in your questions. If not, we'll dive into a meditation a little bit. We're happy to keep going and going like Energizer bunnies for a little while longer if you have questions. If not, we'll dive into a meditation here shortly. So let's get the exact question again. We're talking about ego. We're talking about how we tell. Is that it exactly?
I wonder if I get fooled by my ego, though I don't know for sure. Is ego always negative?
No, ego is not always negative, actually, but ego will always be hedging his or her bets. Ego is rarely thinking expansively, is rarely getting way out of the box, is rarely exceptionally creative. Ego likes to keep us in known patterns and in the known at all costs. When I say at all cost, ego is fine with us getting hurt even if it keeps us in our current paradigm. Ego does not like getting out of that paradigm. If I'm in automatic writing, I always check and ask if it's something really big. Is this coming from ego? to see and check and double check, and then I will put the question out there. So if I hear, which I did years ago, you need to do a bike ride across the country to help people with learning disabilities and ADD, and you need to sell all of your racing gear. If I had gotten that in automatic writing, I would have been like, WTF, and I would have asked the question. And I would have asked the question again and asked the question again still, and gone for long walks with this question and had conversations with this question to really try to iron out where this was coming from. In this case, it came in a waking lucid dream state where I'm like, oh, crap, it just is. And with practice in your automatic writing, you get much clearer at that as well. So quite frequently, I can speak for myself, not sure for the Pookster, I will get, oh crap things where it's something that I didn't plan on or didn't want to do, but know that I get to do. But it was very clear it was coming from a kind, loving place, not from a negative, here's what you need to do, fear or worry-based place, not from a small, keep it small, play it small kind of place.
Level Up Vibrations also writes, what is your take on dreaming?
So Level Up, that's a brilliant question, and there are many levels to dreaming. So dreaming can be something that helps us to heal, to help us to process, to help us to understand something that's gone on. Dreaming can be something that is clairvoyant, showing us something that may take place in the future as well. And dreaming can be a tool for communication, a tool for learning, a tool for growth. How do we discern what it is? The first step is to start writing out your dreams each and every day, first thing when you get up, and then start asking either an automatic writing or literally going to like a Llewellyn's dictionary, dream dictionary from Dr. Michael Lennox, and starting to practice amateur, it's not amateur, you're your pro about yourself, but amateur dream interpretation. It can also be that you start working towards lucid dreaming at night. And that's something that I haven't focused on very much. And for, I guess I first put it in my book on ADHD a good decade and a half ago now, about wanting to play with it. When you start playing with it, you get some interesting results. And I have had, particularly in this coronavirus time, some very interesting lucid dreams, just not by my choice. A very simple technique to start playing with your lucid dreams. First off, when you go to sleep, set intention that you're going to remember your dreams. And then no matter what comes up in the morning, get it down fast because it doesn't go into your regular short-term memory. But when you go to sleep or throughout the day, you can practice. For instance, every time you turn a doorknob, ask, am I dreaming? Check your watch twice and see if you're dreaming. Or you could simply, whenever you check your watch, say, am I dreaming? And check your watch twice. Because when you're in that dreaming state, time is not linear and the clock will always change on you. So if you look at your clock and it says 444, which is really, really cool, and then you look at it again and it says 123, rest assured you're in a dream. If you catch that by practicing it in a waking state, pop, you can actually wake up in your dream. And that's where some of the real coolness begins.
Elaine writes, is the ego here to keep us safe?
On one level, yes. Yes, Elaine, our ego to me is our scared, wounded inner child. And she or he will do everything they can to keep us safe. But I'm going to make sure this is safe here. I'll put safe in quotes. Safe means to keep us in the known. Nothing scares the ego more than the unknown. Well, guess what? Where are we right now as a planet and as a species? We're at a time of the greatest unknown ever. Everything is unknown. We can check the news as many times in the day as we want, and we are not going to get the answer. Because everything has been, it's kind of like, is it the old school game? I never really played it. I think it's called Yahtzee, and you mix up in this glass cube all of these dice at the same time. That's what's been done with our lives right now. All of the dice are bouncing around. Ego does not like this. And so what does ego do? It either A, throws a temper tantrum, or B, wants to bolt us to the floor to keep us safe. Will ego throw us in a car's path, almost quite literally, if it fails, that will keep us from the unknown? Yes. That's the challenge with the ego, is that the ego wants to keep us safe by keeping us small, even if safe means we get hurt. What's the answer? I'm not a guy who pushes the ego away. I don't believe in fighting the ego. I don't believe in banishing the ego. I don't think we're trying to rise up above the ego, trying to annihilate the ego. These aren't the way I see things. I see ego as our wounded inner child, our little Michael, our little Elaine, our little Pookie, who just wants to be loved and know that everything's all right. So I want to listen to the ego, and I want to integrate the ego with everything that I've got. It doesn't mean that I always listen to the ego, for yes, there was a word that came up, self-sabotage. The ego will trip us up to keep us small. But I want her or him to feel heard. I want them to know that they are a part of the journey. I want them to know they're welcome to occupy the passenger seat. They can't grab the wheel, but they can have the passenger seat, and they're welcome to share whenever they want. And we have constructive means for doing it. But I want them to know more than anything else that I or you will keep them safe and will do everything you can to protect them and to protect yourself with everything that you've got. Love up the ego, love her up, love her up, love her up. Brilliant, brilliant question. Thank you.
Okay. Carlene writes, does one have to be in a sleepy or dozy state to do automatic writing? I find that very uncomfortable because I always yawn. I was yawning away tired.
So, and it's Carlene. Carlene, maybe we can go 1/2 state less yawny, but as a general rule, when you are, so maybe we want you sleepy, but not exhausted. What's the difference? Sleepy is when I wake up in the morning and I do my meditation and go into automatic writing, my eyes are just about closed, the room is dark, I'm half here, I'm not half not here, and the words start to flow. That is being, what did I call it? Sleepy versus tired? Half awake. That's the half awake state. Sleepy or exhausted is a state up almost all night. I forced myself to get up with an alarm. I'm trying to stay awake to write, but my head just keeps nodding down or almost hits the counter. That's not the state we want to write in. That's called go back to bed, Carlene. The other state where we're tired, we're half awake, we're in kind of a dreamy, daydreamy kind of state. That's the perfect place to write. That's the sweet spot. But if you feel like you're exhausted, we need to get you more sleep. Why are we writing in a half awake state? And why are we doing it with some sort of like theta brain entrainment music going? Because we want to get our mind offline, so that this is not coming from the thinking mind. We basically want to shut down the frontal lobe and go to more of the parietal lobe, basically go from the executive functions of the brain to more of the deeper, higher connection part of the brain, and allow all the writing to come from that place.
Okay, Travis writes, why are chocolate chips important in this time?
Inner child, Travis, inner child rocks. So yes, chocolate is a good thing if it's not involved with a lot of sugar, and there are a lot of benefits to it. And we even have some chocolate reishi tea, of which the reishi part is exceptionally good as an antiviral. Will it help with coronavirus? I'm coming at it from a place of love. I can't say for sure. I have no idea. But my heart says, sure, why not? And so it is a time where we really get to watch our eating habits, which is interesting because life is a paradox. Everything I'm teaching here is a paradox. But we get to watch what we're eating now, insofar as if we don't, and I had this challenge when the coronavirus first started coming up, I found there was no end to how hungry I was, because we are in a collective fight or flight state, which means our blood sugar levels are off. We want fats, we want sugars, we want nothing else. Well, give us some salt. Fats, sugars, and salt. That's what the body is craving right now. And until I was able to step back and recognize it and actually consciously put on the brakes for a week or two, I was eating for everybody on the planet, which is what we're all doing right now. My guess is that all of us are putting on the freshman 15, so to speak, or the freshman 50 or more because of the amount that we are all eating right now from a place of stress. With that said, in moderation, have something fun. Love up your inner child with everything that you've got. And so when the Pookster started giving me chocolate chip pancakes, well, blueberry pancakes that morphed into chocolate chip pancakes until I was having far too many chocolate chips, who was I to say no? But you want to be very, very conscious about it because your body will crave sugar. It will crave candy. It will crave stuff that in moderation, what's moderation? I'm such a middle road kind of guy. I've had the vegan raw diet for 3 or 4 years straight. I've had the blah, blah, blah diet, the keto diet, this diet, the neurotic diet. I believe loving ourselves up and being kind and gentle and taking a middle path, especially now, is the most important thing. Because if we freak out about what we eat, well, that freak out is putting a burden on the nervous system, and not just on the nervous system, on the immune system. And we don't want to be immune compromised. Can we be immune compromised by sugar? Sure. Can we be immune compromised by freaking out about what we eat? Sure. So find that happy middle road for you.
Anna Maria writes, what is your take on this vision I got during a recent meditation? I saw the face of a lion that transmuted into a gorilla, and then I believe it transformed into a native person. Thank you.
So Anna Maria, it's not on my watch right now because my watch gobbled up my apps. But earlier this year, specifically when the Pookie was going to Sedona, I was looking for a lion app on my watch and ended up, first I found a Japanese bobtail with its hand up. Remember that on the watch, Pookster?
Yes.
And then I found a gorilla app on my watch. And there are two very symbolic creatures, and I'm going to need to come back to that to read the ending of it again. They are native person. Okay. They're two very symbolic creatures, which each have to do with standing in your power. Lion is about discernment, is about power, is about pride, is about courage, is about stepping forward, but with discernment. The lion doesn't pounce unless the lion believes it will be successful. So the lion is always watching and scanning the horizon first. In fact, I've heard that they will watch and study a herd for days, trying to understand exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to expend their energy to ensure their success before they do it. But they are very, very courageous. Gorilla is strong. It's all from the arms. It is before we developed real glutes as a species. This gorilla stands proud, stands strong, stands courageous. And so when gorilla energy comes to play, gorilla does take care of its own, but a gorilla is exceptionally powerful. When that energy comes in, it is pumping that energy into you. So coming back to dreams, and I think it was Travis may have been asking about dreams. No, he was asking about chocolate chips. When somebody was asking about dreams earlier, dreams can also be a way of transmitting energy to you, or what we can say is getting upgrades. And when visions come to you like this is a transmission of energy or an upgrade as well. When I see a Native American involved, it can either mean to me elders being present, or a reflection of who you were coming from your past lives. Either way, when the combination comes of lion, of gorilla, and of Native American comes together, to me, this means stand in your power, stand true to your authentic self. And I always believe when a Native American person comes, that this means getting in alignment with the planet, getting in alignment with Mother Earth. So see if those things resonate, write about them, dream about them, ask about them. I like to say snow globe them. which is one of these days I'm going to buy myself a snow globe instead of this amazing stone that the Pookster got me from Sedona here, this obsidian stone with this pearl sheen to it. But stare at it, observe it, go, wow, a mountain lion appeared. What does that mean? Wow. A gorilla appeared. What did that mean? Wow, I saw it morph into a Native American person. What does that mean? And realize there will be more truth to whatever story, in quotes, you come up with than I can come up with. That's the crazy thing. If we see a medium channel guide and they share this, that, or the other, that is one perspective, and a powerful perspective that's very helpful, particularly the more plugged in they are. But we have our own perspective as well. We are incredibly plugged in. So don't think, oh, I just made that up when you come up with an interpretation. My guess is there is a lot more truth to it than you could ever imagine.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Sometimes I don't know what's going to come out of you. Okay, Vicky writes, I see small flashes of light at times, like like a circle of clear white color, as well as blue and purple. I'm guessing they are angels. What should I do when I see them?
Woohoo! We're going to agree with you, Vicky. And the Pookster was watching a video from Claudio earlier today. It was telling me about a white poof that went in front of her. We believe that when we see these lights or orbs or flashes or whatever you want to call it, you don't have to give it a fancy name, that it is very clearly that a sign that you are not alone and that angels are in your midst and want to share with you that they are. Go into a state of prayer. Go into a state of gratitude. Go into a place of woohoo, which to me is the highest energetic state. Woohoo! But acknowledge it. Acknowledge the angel that's by your side. Develop a relationship. Maybe words will come to you. I've known people who have started lifelong communication out of an orb coming to visit them. Or maybe it is just to allow their presence or allow you to feel their presence at a deeper level. Whatever it was, it's special, it's significant, it's meaningful. And the more that you acknowledge that, the more often that they come. And the Pookster definitely wants to jump in on this one.
Well, I just want to say that I will see white or a very like electric blue spark when someone is speaking wisdom, or when I'm reading like a Paul Selig book, and I think they appear.
Exclamation mark?
Excuse me?
Would you call it an exclamation mark from the universe?
Yeah, like a take note, pay attention.
Sorry to cut you off there. And another example of that, a radically different but similar example, is if you see repeating digits. Like you're thinking about something and all of a sudden you see 444 or 555. I think that's also like a stamp from the universe. Or we've been seeing a lot of eagles around us lately. Mm-hmm. Have you ever asked, what am I thinking when that eagle comes around?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not sure if you had anything to add. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, next question from Bacteria Boy. Any advice on nudging a loved one towards a higher conscious, or is that something they have to do alone?
Bacteria Boy, I like your word choice. Very inquisitive as to your name, but I like the word choice that you used. Nudging them along. We cannot change anyone. The Pookster would disagree with me. She says she was conscripted into this relationship and she will hammer me into submission and get me to change. She's actually been very successful. But as a general rule, we cannot change anyone. I agreed to allow her to change me because I voted in or I meditated and asked for somebody to come into my life who would help me to be more of who I'm capable of. However, so we cannot change even those we love, but we can lead by example. That's where nudging or nudging comes in. You can be a nudge, a good Jewish word there, whether you're Jewish or not. You can be a nudge by leading by example, by sharing by how you're living your life. But there's not much more that you can do. I'm impressed. Jessica's mom has been going to all of our boot camps lately. The Pookster didn't ask her to. My dad recently attended a class or two, which has just blown me away. But this is not because we have invited or asked them to. It was of their own volition. However, they've been watching us and going, wow, that's really interesting. You guys are doing really well. What can we learn from you? That's how you get, in my opinion, that's how you get to play the game. And other than that, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is not be attached to them changing, because that can only create great friction in your relationship and great pain within your heart.
From Zoe Blue.
Yes.
Off topic. To bring your next romantic partner, does setting an intention work? Or is it best to just work on getting your mojo back so they would just show up?
Oh, Zoe Blue, that is, yes. That is the best answer. When I work with somebody on finding their romantic partner, I consider it a two-step dance. Intention is always a two-step dance. So first, certainly we can set intention for that partner to come into our lives and get clear what the energetic feeling state is we would like there to be, much more than any physical characteristics or anything of that sort. What is the feeling state we would like? With the gold coin, to have that special someone come into our lives, we drop it down into the third eye and into our heart, metaphorically speaking. And then we let go of that intention. You can write it out daily, as long as you're not, I hate the expression, but beating a dead horse. As long as there's emotion behind it, you can write it out daily. But more importantly, let's work on you, Zoe Blue, and let's get you to the highest state of consciousness, of awareness, where you are clipping along at the highest energetic state possible, because then you become an attractor magnet to the highest level person you can. So, truth be told, I was doing this exact work in calling in the Pookie over a good decade, I guess 11 years ago now. Is it 11 years?
Yeah.
Wow. 11 years ago now, I was calling her in. And at the same time, I was working on myself. And I was just barely at the energetic state enough for her to recognize me as somebody she wanted to hang with, because she was vibrating, truth be told, at a much higher level than me, and was seeing me for all of my childhood wounds. And she felt, let's see if any words come to mind, because she's been typing right here. But she felt the word when she first saw me.
I don't recall there being one word.
If there was.
Fixer-upper?
I was going to go with danger, but yes, fixer-upper works too.
Technically, it's 2 words.
She was getting red flags left, right, and center. I am so sorry for putting you on the spot, but you handled that magnificently. I was just barely at a high enough energetic state. And so when I work with people, I want them to dive in the inside with everything that you've got and do all the work in you can. Not that you're broken. So let me be very clear about this. You are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you at all. None of us are broken. None of us need to be fixed. I hate that about self-help, the concept that something's wrong with us and we have to be fixed. However, we can keep reaching levels, greater and greater levels of awareness, greater and greater levels of coherence, greater and greater levels of peace, of plugged in, of connection. And at these higher vibrational states, we attract in higher vibrational people. How are we doing on questions?
This is a goodie. Aves writes, can you talk a little bit about coincidences? Are they really coincidences?
What a coincidence you say that. Oh, please forgive me. They're not. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think there's a single coincidence in the world. Nobody can convince me that there is such a thing as a coincidence. I'm not buying it. Everything and everyone is connected. We are like, how do we call it? I think Dr. Wayne Dyer, he put it great years and years ago, that we are all both the center of the universe and all parts connected to the circumference at any point. That didn't come out right. But the point being, there is a connection between me and you. There's a connection between me and the Pookster. There is a connection between me and the sun, between me and the moon, between me and everything, and you and everything as well. And there is such a construct to time and space that everything is happening in the most intricate, beautiful dance. everything here for our highest good, even in the most challenging moments. And so when a coincidence appears, when a number, an angel number comes up, when that light appears before us, when an eagle swoops in, when a whatever takes place, take note. It happened for a reason. One of the most common things that I've been saying recently is, wow, what interesting timing. And when I say what interesting timing, what I mean is, wow, what a setup by the universe. So something doesn't work out. Let's take the negative, for example, and say something doesn't work out. And you make a decision, choice B, when now you're convinced in hindsight, if only you had chosen choice A. Ah, what was I thinking? Why did I choose choice B? Why? But at the time, one thing took place that made you think of choice A. Somebody mentioned something that made you think of choice A. You stopped and didn't get hit by a trolley and it made you think of choice A. You read something in a book and it made you choose choice A. And so you chose choice A. And then later on, it turns out B was the quote right thing. Not true. A was the right thing. That was universe guiding you. Gets to this whole question of free will. It's a setup. We are being set up to learn lessons for our highest good. When we can recognize that and see the coincidences for what they are, it becomes more of a cool rock show or roller coaster ride rather than sometimes the nightmare horror movie that it appears to be, because we realize everything is appearing to help us nudge us right, nudge us left, get us on path, help us to think, to become awake, to become aware. All here to serve us. So coincidences, no. But look for the synchronicities. That's where the fun is. The more that you see the synchronicities, the more the synchronicities appear. The more that the synchronicities appear and that you witness them and you mention them, you write about them, you give thanks for them, the more that appear as well. And all of a sudden, you're living with a completely new richness or texture to the universe, where you see something, you had an idea last week, and then all of a sudden it appears this week, and you go, wow, the ideas are coming closer and closer to this reality. I really am starting to tune in on the other side, and that's there inside of you. And that's what the coincidences, as knocks on the door from the fabric of space and time itself, are helping wake you up to. How are we doing, Pookie? And how is your energy level? Because sometimes this brings you amazing energy. Sometimes it's a good stopping point. And I want to make sure that we stop at a good stopping point for everybody. So I am feeling like we go for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes.
I think it's a good time to do meditation now.
You rock. All right. Anything that you wanted me to share before meditation? All right, let's do this. Give me a second here, everybody. First off, I'm going to ask you, the Bookster, one more time. Have you, from watching this here tonight, is there anything, or any intention you feel we should set for this meditation?
Well, there are a couple people in the chat room that are experiencing or could use healing.
Okay. Let's do a healing meditation tonight.
Okay.
I like it. So we're going to do a healing group meditation. Group meditations, Lynn McTaggart, can't be said enough. She is an independent journalist who years ago started studying group meditation, took little groups of 8 people, had them start meditating together on healing on one individual in particular, one person per group. And all of a sudden, everybody started to pop. Everybody started to shift, to change. And in her book, she talks about it couldn't have been any more startling if somebody had literally walked on water, or if the blind could see, or if the lame could walk again, because that was pretty much what was taking place. And so she started expanding out her meditations to larger and larger groups, to where her groups are responsible for lowering crime rates in DC, for literally ending several wars. Amazing, miraculous stuff, which seem like miracles until we realize that we are all energy, we are all alchemists, and we all have a profound effect on the field. And that's what we are talking about here tonight, having a profound effect on the field. So what we're going to do is come together as a group, and we are going to meditate. I always like bringing up my gold coin here. And so I want you to think on one side of the gold coin is sending love and healing energy. And I got a tap on the leg.
Well, specifically, Annette States had requested, please pray for my total body healing, physical and mind. Annette.
And her name is Annette States.
Yes.
So let's do this. So on the one side of the coin, I want to pray for everyone in the group for healing and health, for everyone in the group, and specifically for Annette States.
And also, Dave Lugg mentioned a knee that he was working on healing so that he could skate again.
Oh, Dave, heart be still. And for Dave Lugg, for your knee. And Dave, when it comes to knees, I always want to ask, is there an area in your life that you have been afraid to step forward? Because the body always, as Louise Hay used to say, speaks to us first in whispers, and then it gets louder. And so when there's a part of our body or a total body that is speaking to us, what does it mean? And with the knee, it's about stepping forward. So Annette States and Dave Lugg and everybody in the group on one side of the coin. And on the other side of the coin, anybody, anywhere who is struggling with the coronavirus. I think we need to send them all the love and light in the world. So Alice Williams, eyesight to return clear. I'm legally blind. So let's put Alice in on that first side of the coin as well. Absolutely, absolutely. Zoe Blue, please help heal my heart. So we've got Zoe, we've got Alice, we've got Annette, and we've got Dave. All right. So we're going to take this healing coin and we're going to drop it down into our hearts. Put it into your heart. Feel it warming your heart. In fact, you can put your hand on your heart for a minute. Breathe into the heart. Feel the heart expanding with love. And out from the heart. Feel the heart sending out love. You can even massage your heart. Breathe into the heart. Feel it expanding with love. And out from the heart. And into the heart. And out. In and out. As you continue to breathe in and out, and I do it gently through the nose, down to the belly, I'd like you to imagine that you're laying down on the beach. Nice, gentle, warming sand. Hear a lapping of the ocean in the distance. Everything feels peaceful. Everything feels safe. Everything feels good. This is your natural state. This is your birthright. Now, as you look up, as you're laying on the beach, you see a brilliant, brilliant light up above. That light is the energy of the sun, the energy of the cosmos. And truth be told, the energy that is inside of you in each and every moment. For every single cell, every molecule, every atom of your being was once a part of that sun. From a quantum physics level, it still is. There's no separation. Quite literally in physics, you are still the sun. And if we go with an electron microscope, we go down deep enough, we can see every single one of your cells vibrating, resonating with the sun, and emitting, quite literally, a golden, loving light. As you breathe in, you're taking in the light of the sun. And as you breathe out, you're sending out that love and light from the sun. You breathe in such beautiful light from the sun, and out, you send out loving light. Now, why do I call this loving light? because the sun brings new life. It brings healing. It brings health. It brings everything. And it brings it to everyone and everything, completely indiscriminately. The sun doesn't say, oh, that's a bad person, I'll give him or her less light. The sun doesn't say, I don't like the decisions that person made or the party they represent or how they voted in the last election, I'll give them less light. The sun doesn't even say, oh, that person opened up a strip mine and is hurting Mother Earth, I'll give him less light. But she shines her light lovingly on all. There's so much we can learn from the sun, who is really ourselves. And so now, what I'd like us to do is start cranking up our inner light to help everyone in need here tonight, everyone in this group, everyone who needs healing, and then specifically to send out all the love and light we can to everyone struggling with the coronavirus, wherever they may be. So I want you to breathe in all the light you can and send out healing love. Breathe in light, send out love. You can breathe that light right into your heart. Take it all into the heart. It heals your heart. It heals the heart of everyone on the planet. And send out love from that heart as well. Keep breathing in light and sending out love. Now, they say coronavirus is of the lungs, although they're starting to mention the heart, the kidneys, the liver, some other places as well. For myself, I see it first and foremost as a disease or change maker of the heart. You can see it by those who are most immune compromised, who are most struggling with heart challenges, are the first to go from this virus. What does it mean? It means as an individual, as a society, and as a species, we get to heal our hearts. I can hear an ancient Hawaiian wisdom keeper. Her name was Auntie Pua, dear, dear friend to the bookster and me. And she used to say, breath is life. Aloha is breath. And so what I hear her saying is when we draw in that breath of love and light and take it into the lungs and breathe it into the heart, we heal ourselves, we heal everyone, and we heal the planet. And so I want you to be a surrogate tonight in the most beautiful, kind, loving, and safe way. But to imagine that you're breathing in for someone in need, someone in an ICU, somebody in a home who couldn't get to the hospital, somebody who is perhaps all by themselves. And I want you to breathe in light, healing your lungs, healing their lungs. Take it into your heart, healing theirs, and send out love. In healing light, send out love. In healing light, as you're doing this, you may even notice with your eyes closed, the whole room starts glowing around you. And send out love. Draw in that light deep into your lungs, deep into your heart, deep into their lungs and heart as well. And send them out all the love you can. Breathe in that light and love. Take it into your lungs, healing yours and theirs, and your heart and their heart as well. And send them out love. As you continue to breathe in this light and love, send it back out. You realize it's not just light you're breathing in. but life itself. You are breathing life, and life is breathing you. Breathe in all the healing life you can. Send out all the love in the world. Breathe in life. Send out love. Breathe in life and send out love. As you continue to do this, you might notice your palms are getting sweaty, your fingers tingly, your scalp might be buzzy a little bit. This is the energy of the universe flowing through you. You might feel it in your fingertips. Just focus on the fingertips. See if you start to feel them tingle and buzz. This is life moving through you and moving you as well. This is the healing power that you have. Healing power for yourself. You can draw it into your knee. You can take it to your whole body. You can take it to your eyes. And the healing power for others as well. For we are all one. One person, one being, one species, one universe, one awareness, one consciousness. And as you breathe in life, you are helping everyone, everywhere. That's why there is hope. That's why you have great work to do. We're simply breathing in this light and sending out love. You aren't just helping yourself, but everyone, everywhere. And so I encourage you, do this each morning, each day, twice a day if you can. Breathe in life, send out love. Breathe in life and send out love. Breathe in life and send out love. Do this each and every day. You will feel better. You will feel lighter. You'll start to get this golden glow when your eyes close, as if it's brighter than daylight outside. I know if I open my eyes, it seemed dark, but right now it seems so, so bright. You may be experiencing that too. That is getting that life, that light, that love flowing through you. That is your job. That is your birthright. As simple as staying in the light and in the love. And when, as it happens, that you trip or you fall or you spend too much time in the news, simply go back to that light, to that life, to that love. Take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1. Breathe in light. Send out love. Breathe in light. Send out love. And breathe in light. Send out love. Feel free to stay here on this beautiful beach as long as you would like. Soak in the sun, take in the vitamin D, and draw in all that light and life in the world that you want. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, feel free to come back, knowing that you have just done the most beautiful thing in the world. You've just helped save a life or many lives. You've helped shift consciousness. And you have been incredibly loving and kind to yourself, which is what we need now more than anything else in the world. For you are special. You are loved. You are love. and you matter. And the more that you know that you matter just by being you, the more we change your state, the more we change the state of everyone around us, and the more we shift humanity to an entirely new level. You matter. Your life is a gift. You chose to come here during this time to be part of an extra special, though not easy event. That makes you a superhero. That makes you a light warrior. Breathe in light. Send out love. Breathe in light. Send out love. Breathe in light and send out love. I'll see you here tomorrow night. Thumbs up this if you enjoyed it. Share it. The more that we can share the light and love, the more we're going to shift this planet. Keep on shining bright. We need you. All my love.